Well, shout out to whatever sponsors advertiser I put in there. Probably Big Boulder or Rosnell. I don't know. Those are really the only two big sponsors we have anymore. But we're moving on to the next topic. K2 Snowboards, or the whole K2 corporation, has been sold yet again to Kohlberg and Company from Newell Brands, which we kind of always speculated that Newell was going to sell it off.
Yeah, it never made sense that they were buying. I guess it's not that it never made sense that they were buying that for that. It made more sense that they were buying Newell to get.
No, they bought Jarden.
Or Jarden, yeah.
Newell bought Jarden.
Right, the Newell bought Jarden in order to get the
Rawlings.
other brands, Rawlings and
I think
Rubbermaid.
Yeah, they wanted. They didn't want the snow division, which I mean I understand because the snow division made $280 million in sales, but only $25 million in profit. So it's not really a super profitable venture. When Newell was shopping it around that they were going to sell it, they wouldn't break it up. But I know that former ride people and some of the current ride people tried to buy ride. Some of the ski guys tried to buy like line and full tilt. Some people wanted to buy K2 snowboards. I think it would have made sense to break up that whole thing, although it would have been a logistics nightmare with production.
Yeah.
Because that factory in China makes just about everything for them in one spot.
Yep.
So,
and they just recently put a bunch of money into it.
Yeah.
The last couple of years.
Because isn't it? It's like a 4 or 5 story factory now. It's freaking ridiculous. Yeah. So it's. But yeah, K2 is for sale. From my inside sources, they sent me links to everything and then just said it's business as usual. It looks like Kohlberg and Company is an equity firm that specializes in mid-level brands that aren't aggressively profitable, I would say.
They're profitable, but don't have anybody to kind of at the helm of the entire branch to optimize things in order to boost profits without having to put any more money into it.
I kind of don't see these guys holding on to them long term. I think it's probably a 2 to 5 year plan to maximize profits, then sell it, not liquidate it, but sell it off to either a bigger company or maybe make it. Maybe they would break them up and sell them back to the individual owners. Who knows? I doubt that they would do that.
I don't think they would either. This very much comes across to me like you're like flipping a house. You buy it, you fix it up, and you resell it for a profit. And that's kind of what I'm thinking that these guys are basically going to do. They're going to buy it, they're going to operate it for the next 2 to 5 years, fix the inefficiencies, and then sell it when it's way more marketable. Turn that, whatever percentage, it's like a 10% profit margin, turn that into a 30-40% profit margin, and then resell the brand at that point, because then they're way more appealing to a whatever people buy things with $250 million.
I still think Rosnell's going to buy them. I'm going with my fake press release that Rosnell's going to buy them. This is a shout out to Tom Lovesack out in Park City. I know that's not your last name, and I don't care, but you're going to buy these guys. I can feel it. You want to get back to the Northwest, and this is how you're going to do it. So Tom is actually the U.S. brand manager for Rosnell. It's all a ploy by him to buy them to get back to the Northwest. But it's not. Yeah, who knows? It's still business as usual over there with those brands. You're not going to see anything aggressively change in the next few months. I'm not saying that the new product line for 2019. 2019.
That might have, they might have some effect on 2019.
2019, but this upcoming season, everything we rode, that should all be fine. Usually what you'll see is the lower hanging fruit getting cut, so you'll see maybe a pullback on amateur sponsorships, maybe some of the older guys that are kind of not really pulling their weight will get dropped. They'll start slashing contracts here or there. There might be a few people internally that are let go, whether it's sales, marketing. I doubt design, because design is really...
It's already pretty thin, at least on our end of it.
On the ski side. Yeah, on the snowboard side, I think there's only like 9 people in design right now between K2 Ride.
It might even be less. Well, I guess if you, maybe
I'm
you
counting
count outerwear too and everything.
No, I'm counting boots, bindings, and boards.
Right, I was trying to think because I know bindings. At least last time I talked to him, there was only one dude. He was doing both. I think he was doing both, and then boots I think was the same. It was the K2 guy and the Ride guy were the same person, and then I know boards were different.
Well, there's a little overlap, but not much. So right now, Kohlberg and Company, but you know this is just a cyclical thing inside snowboard. I mean, people forget when Quicksilver owned pretty much half the snowboard industry. I mean, they had Mervin, Roxy, Rosenal, Dynastar. You know, they had was DC? DC was still is. Yeah, DC still is. Yeah. So they had that. Then everyone thought the sky was falling, and Mervin got sold to Altamont Capital Partners, which has Mervin and Dakine
and Billabong.
Do they? No, I don't think. Do they have Billabong?
I think they do.
Did they pick that up? I stopped paying attention to Billabong because I don't know how a company that big could go that far into debt, but. It's just cyclical. It's going to be business as usual. You'll see a few people shuffled around. You'll see them try to rebrand possibly. It's not going to drastically change anything.
No. And if you start hearing rumors of company death or whatever, if anybody's going to hear about it, we are, and we will probably hear about it possibly even before the people that are getting fired know about it. For whatever reason, people tell us things. And so if you're hearing these rumors and we haven't said anything yet, and you've been hearing these rumors for, like I say, a month, and you haven't seen anything from us yet, it's probably full of shit.
Yeah. I love when the rumors start swirling. I mean, I've heard it all from that Burton has bought Rome, that Rome's going out of business, that Ride and K2 are liquidating and they're just going to close up shop.
I've heard Burton bought Flow
at
one point.
Yeah, that's good. That Yes is actually owned by a drug cartel. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things. My favorite is that Arbor, the new one that I love, rumor is that Arbor is actually owned by Nidecker. So that means
Where did that come from?
I don't know, but that would basically mean that Nidecker now owns Flow, Yes, Jones, Arbor. It would be
now.
Just now. Yeah, it would be all these brands. It's secret. So right now, if anyone's just paying attention to it, it's business as usual. It's not going to do it. I will say this, though. My favorite thing about every time K2 sells, some fucking jackass will come out of the woodwork and be like, that's why I only buy American-made products from American companies like Never Summer, and Never Summer's the best. And I really just want to be like, you're a fucking idiot. You are a fucking idiot, dude. I like snowboards made in really clean factories that come off a production line with generational labor. K2 has now been in China for almost 20 years. 20 fucking years.
And they own their own factory.
They own their own factory. They have workers that have been there for that 20 years. And, you know, you worked in a U.S. factory.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell people about working in a U.S. factory?
Since I was there, they've gone through, I would probably say, other than maybe Oscar and Alejandro, those are probably the two dudes that are still there. But other than that, they've probably been through 9 employees, and the whole place runs on 6. So, like, anybody that I was there working with, other than Oscar and Alejandro, are not there anymore. So they don't have that consistency. You know, I think they make great snowboards. They make super fun snowboards. But as far as the actual quality of the manufacturing and the accuracy of the manufacturing, the consistency of the manufacturing, it doesn't step up.
Oh, I was more or less. Why don't you tell them about the working conditions?
Well, it's in California in a warehouse without any ventilation, and masks and eye protection were optional. So,
yeah, but I mean, for anyone that tries to say that American made, I mean,
it's not better.
It's not better.
You're not helping snowboarding by buying American made. You're not. I mean, if you want to buy because you live in like Washington, so you want to buy a Mervin, like, all right, well, whatever, fine. Maybe you know one of the dudes and you want to help him out because.
And they do make some good stuff.
Yeah, and they do, but it's Buy a fucking snowboard because it's a good
Well,
snowboard.
yeah, and my favorite stuff here is like, we're giving snowboarders jobs, and I want to be like, how many people worked in the factory with you rode more than 5 days a year?
2, including myself.
See, so and I know this. So my brother in the '90s worked in a factory with a whole bunch of his friends. They used to make the Type A snowboards. So yeah, for any of you guys that got a boner for Type A boards, my brother probably made them. But dude, fuck, man, those guys would just like it. It's not exactly all fun and games, and it's not. It's factory work. I love those people who are like, I need a board built by a snowboarder. Okay, do you need a car made by a NASCAR driver?
Yeah.
No.
No. I don't want Dale Earnhardt Jr. building my Pathfinder. That's okay. I'm good. No.
Yeah, exactly. That's just kind of. Well, I don't think he would make a Pathfinder. Well, does Nissan even have a plant in the U.S.?
No.
Doesn't matter.
Irrelevant.
It's just not that. But I love whenever the K2 thing comes up and all these people are like, oh, it's been sold. Pro-America and blah, fuck them, and they make their boards in China. Little children make our stuff. And I want to be like,
if they do, they're great at it.
They have tiny little hands that are better at feeding boa cables.
And they fit into small spaces, and that's a good thing.
They can take a shorter lunch, which means they can make more products.
Because they don't need as
But
much.
no, it's the same thing. It's like, if a factory's good, it's good.
Yeah.
Whether it's China, Dubai, Austria.
The moon. I don't care.
Yeah, you make a fucking product. But, K2... What does that argument even have to do with them being sold? I mean, you should be stoked because I always love this too. They're like, they're not a real snowboard brand. They've been making snowboards since 1987. You were born in 1995. Fuck off. Like you don't, whenever I hear that argument, and that's the whole thing. Like when the Kirchner brothers launched K2 snowboards, which is why it's called K2, it's Kirchner brothers. So there's 2 of them. But when they launched it, they were like, do we rename it? Do we not? They never hid who they were. They were like, we're K2 snowboards.
But one of the other things is when they decided to go and make snowboards, one of the first things they did is they sat down and just, tried to basically figure it out. How do we need to do this, and how do we keep the snowboard thing effectively separate from the ski side? That was one of the first meetings they had when they decided to do snowboards.
Yeah.
Was to separate it.
Yeah, and so, K2, snowboarding is still considered relatively young in terms of snow sports. K2 is a legacy brand.
Yeah.
Ride is now a legacy brand because they've been around since '92. These legacy brands, if you were butthurt when Forum disappeared, you're going to be butthurt when K2 and Ride are gone too. And that's just how it is. And I know we're going to get some hate in the comments. And for you people, I don't give a fuck. You're stupid. And I can say that. Because I'm an asshole. But yeah, so any final thoughts on K2?
They make fun snowboards. So you should buy one because they're good.
Yeah, we'll have a bunch of reviews of their bindings and boards coming out in July 15th. So
and nothing's going to change. So don't stress about it.
Yeah.
Don't let the rumors get to you. K2's fine. Ride's fine.
Also, if you've heard any good rumors, please leave them in the comment.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
Oh, God, please. We will read your rumors in the next episode because, fuck yeah, those things are great. I love it when I get either that or go off on a huge rant because a huge rant.
Rants are good, too.
Rants are always great. Yeah, you know what? Just leave comments, people. That's where I'm at.
Comments are good.
Comments are great. So, anyways, we're going to move on to another topic.